in our cars now, huh?
Yeah, so I was just telling Nino, I spoke with Corolla, who I think is arguably one of like the best known mechanics in the city, right? Especially in this time frame. And she said an officer she couldn't identify was doing repairs like literally in front of her. And when she was like,
Really?
"Hey, I'm a mechanic, can I help you?" He basically was like, "Oh, like you should have put 311s in. Like I had no idea. Like blah blah." And she's like, "I have been putting 311s in, and there's like 6 other mechanics like in the lemon list at the moment." And just like the way she sounded, it kind of sounded like the officer basically like mansplained mechanic to her, and it was kind of a weird vibe. And she wasn't overly pressed about it, but I said I would bring it up. So
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't look for a mechanic every day, but when I do look for one, there's I'll be lucky if there's one in the lemon list
yeah,
in
it's
the
one thing if there
mornings.
isn't any, right? And like I don't think
And
any mechanics have issues with that.
right, and I've said that to Corolla. I even mentioned that to Corolla the other day, and she's like, "I'm always around," and I'm like, she was talking to somebody else. I could hear she was getting like a little flustered, which I understand. Like, I'm the first one to call a tow truck, a mechanic,
Mhm.
anything, right?
Mm.
She and I understand, her getting a little flustered, but we don't have parts. We don't make parts. We don't fucking drive sanitation trucks. So I don't know who the hell would spend 4 grand across for anything. So to me, unless it was I mean, maybe they were actually repairing their car. I don't know who it was. But the only thing I've seen, like what I told Nino, was I mean, we're constantly buying parts and swapping them. I mean, we have to trust who it is, and we got to make sure they're there. I mean, we're bouncing call to call to call. Sometimes I only have 2 minutes to go to the mechanic to get a part put in, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
again, we do try to call mechanics for that, but I don't fucking trust hardly anybody after what happened with Bobby Charles and his drill getting stolen.
No.
So we try to use our in-house D for just for parts, but as far as repairing the car, none of us are able to do that. None of us have parts. So that's really, and it could just be a one officer type deal. I really don't know, but I definitely will encourage everybody to call mechanics because I'm noticing more and more all my shared cars are coming back not repaired and they're putting money in the glove box, which tells me either A, they're being too lazy, or B, there's no mechanics around to repair them.
Yeah. Or it could
So,
be a bit of both too.
um, the way that I chop it up in my head is as follows. I, and this is why I kind of crashed out on this guy, is not everyone needs to be fucking drastic all the time. You know what I mean? And I think making a decision to go and just ban everyone without conversation is just fucking brain dead. I hate it when the PD does it. I hate it when a civilian does it. I hate it when anyone does it, right? There's a time to act emotionally on like a personal level. It's another to do such tremendous irreversible damage, right? Because
Yeah,
this can create a scenario where the divide gets even deeper between the PD when
right.
it could have just been a singular conversation, singular person gets, called out, etc., etc. Um, what I think I'm gonna do is I may bring Corolla into the cabinet and work with PD directly in terms of mechanic, um, PD relations, and that includes resolving problems like drills getting stolen, etc., etc. I don't know what the solution comes out of it, but I think that's a good first step. Um,
She actually mentioned to me the other day that she's really interested in working for the cabinet. So that was on my
Ooh,
laundry list of things to
yeah.
bring up with you.
you know what I just thought?
hmm
Yeah.
Would she be still be in charge of maybe repairing our cars and stuff? Or is she still gonna be a mechanic, or is she just gonna be full cabinet?
I think that's what we got to figure out. And I think even if she brings people in on behalf of, she probably wouldn't want to be doing mechanic work, right? Because now all of a sudden that's, um, she'd be, we can't do that because otherwise she'd be benefiting off the political position. You know what I mean?
Okay, so well, here's my thought though, right? If she is gonna do something like that, it would be great if I don't know, maybe every Tuesday morning, once a week, I could get mechanics here to repair my shared cars so that I don't have to hunt mechanics, take fucking 15 cars. You know what I mean? It gets a
You
lot
want
of
to have it
work.
be more of like a scheduled thing than like a random
Yeah.
like 311 I'm
Well,
available if PD
be,
needs me thing?
right. So they should be repairing the cars themselves. However, like you said, people are not wanting to repair. Okay, I'm gonna be I had to hide somebody in the trunk of their cruiser to get it fucking repaired a week ago. Okay. Just so I could pretend it was our cruiser and not their
Mm.
cruiser, just to get, and he hid in the trunk while we got his car repaired.
Oh my
I
god.
shouldn't have to do that. All right.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. So yeah, for people who aren't able to get their cars repaired, maybe every Tuesday I can have mechanics come here. Hey Maxwell, you're here. Cool. Let's get these cars out and get them repaired. I used to have Frankie come here. Corolla's been here a few
Mm.
times, but
Mhm.
I like scheduled shit. So honestly, like maybe something like that could solve the problem of my shared car. And then as far as the other officers go, I think we just need better relations with the current mechanics.
Yeah, and I don't exactly know the solution either, because this, I like your recommendation. What I'm concerned with is that the actual problem isn't resolved, because 90% of the PD could be doing it right, and it could be one or two officers, right?
Yeah.
In the same vein, it could be that this is indeed a one-off situation, and we're trying to put a lot of energy into a one-off situation. I am gonna. Here's where I think definitely go ahead with what you're suggesting, Maxwell. But I think what also needs to be put out there is it may actually be illegal for officers to be signing in as a mechanic while on duty unless it's absolutely necessary. So for their own legal protection, if y'all ever do need to do mechanic work, you should be documenting that there was no mechanics on duty. In the same vein, I cannot be working a non-government job when I'm signed on as mayor. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be honest. You're going to have to look at senior buns and tow trucking as well, because it seems we have to feed ourselves, tow our own cars, and put parts in our cars. You know what I'm saying?
What the
In
fuck?
regards to tow,
Yeah.
that was my big project while
Mhm.
Nino was away. I've got a spreadsheet and everything. But
Normally in shift 2, Nino, the food problem. It's a shift 2 problem.
so in regards to tow, I'm still looking into
Mm.
some cause and effect of like why you've got a shortage and what we can, legislate or, make a policy, try and fix it, whatever. Um one thing I am noticing that you might be able to disseminate to officers that might help a little bit is so when I towed for 6.5 hours on Thursday, um, and I got actually quite a lot of PD marked jobs. Out of all of those jobs, only one officer was still on the scene, like when I arrived, which was Trevette. Um, and you guys might have calls that you got to run to sometimes, whatever. That's fine, but like I had to escort a freshly robbed bank truck by myself, which like obviously is a big target.
Yeah.
Or like there was like some sort of crime scene in Cyprus, and like the entire Cyprus gang's cars needed to be towed away, and there were people scoping us up from the hill. Like they're really dangerous jobs, and there's
Mhm.
actually some of the worst paying ones that you can get as a tower. So if PD isn't there to like protect you, it's basically not worth it to do. And I can imagine that some towers who are still working it might see impound request and just decline the job because
Yeah.
it's too dangerous to be worth the money at the moment.
Yeah. Personally, again, I cannot speak for everybody, but first of all, there are a lot of lazy cops. Okay.
Hmm.
They don't have the time of day to wait for a tow person, let alone call them to say, hey, I'm marking this. Can you come? Right. So if I don't see tow on duty and it's a state account vehicle or it's getting VAFed, that shit is going back to the PD with an officer and myself. And
Hmm.
then we wait until we can get a tow to do it. Or
Yep.
like I was telling you, Nino, we have to do it by the end of our shift. Otherwise, they're just sitting in the garage and they're not ever going to get impounded. So yeah, we have to clock on to tow our own vehicles. But like last night with a state account vehicle, no tow available. Clocked in, tried to tow the car, but the job, because so many jobs get backed up because the app does that. It's been doing that for a long time. I'm getting go to this car, go to that, and we never even got the job for the car we requested. So that state account vehicle is going right back to the person who had it to begin with. So that's a huge problem, especially for the state account vehicles.
Okay.
But I do know that officers do just mark them and drive away. I think because they're so used to not having tow show up. I mean, months ago we had a lot of tow, and now we have none.
Yeah.
Occasionally we have Ollie or a few people that will be here and do tow for PD tow. But more times than none, you will see an officer getting a tow truck, which is insane. But what else are we supposed to do? I mean, I don't know. Just leave every car behind. I guess we could do that too.
Yeah, I wish I had been hearing about some of these things like earlier, because these are things that we could fix. Even as simple as so we have legislation already that allows us to pay tow drivers. Let's start up PD tow again. Every PD request, you know, we could pay them like $5,000 or some shit.
Yeah, so I was looking at this because I know, Maxwell, you brought up PD tow, as did a number of other officers when I spoke to them about it. Penis Act technically establishes like PD tow basically, but I think we need to maybe revisit that legislation because the wording of it, as far as like the subsidies, is incredibly vague. It's basically a nothing sandwich of legislation. It just says, hey, if you do stuff, we'll give you subsidies, but it doesn't define how or like what needs to be documented or what processes need to be followed or how much you even get paid.
That's like, why it is. So we can do whatever we want and pay them. Legislation, if legislation is specific, that means we can't do things without the DOJ signing off.
No, and I see that, but it also means that tow drivers who read that say, well, this isn't worth the time and hassle, and don't want to go through with it.
Well, we can't fix stupid, though. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think...
Sure can't.
I think if we get a list of approved tow drivers, every vehicle that they move and document on behalf of the PD, we can pay them like $5,000 or some shit. Just use that as, we'll just pump money into it. And I think that may incentivize quite a bit. In regards to food, how bad is the food issue right now?
It's more of a shift 2. A shift 2 issue, which is why I've been trying to buy food myself and just keep it stocked in the kitchen more than what we buy normally.
Okay.
I'll look into it. On fire, I need to talk to a couple shift 2 people, but I know there's been a couple Fridays or Thursday nights where everything's closed and officers are starving and have had to go make fries and senior buns just to not pass out and have to go home. Do you know what I mean? That's a problem. Obviously,
yeah.
so is flipping fries.
Yeah, that's a problem that very much city over has to deal with too. So it's something we've looked in a little bit, but it has not been something. I don't know if Nino has any other plans specific, but yeah, no, it's on the docket of things we need to look at.
I don't know, maybe with all the food booths closed, there could be like a snack machine open at the food court. Like
already requested.
Yeah. Yep. That would definitely be something to hold people over until these rush. Because I've seen people come in, and I know some of them are gang owned, whatever, I don't care. Come in, feed their friends, and then go back out and do what they're doing. I'm like, you guys aren't serving people. One guy would say, no, we're not serving anybody. And then I'd go out and I was complaining about it. And the guy's like, well, I own it. Go tell them that I said you could have something. Why should I shouldn't have to go to the owner for somebody who's in there making food to get me food. Or, you know, they're feeding each other, but they're not feeding, you know, us. And I don't think it was just an officer thing. I think it was just, they were just trying to be in and out, you know? That's a problem.
The bigger problem with food right now, to give you some perspective, is for every, they need 3 hours of prep with the stall closed to serve food for 3 hours, because they gotta like chop vegetables.
Yeah.
And the chopping takes more time than making the food. So yeah, there's like a greater issue at play. We've requested some like construction around that, but
Okay.
yeah, that's okay. Maxwell, could you monitor this kind of thing for me?
Yeah.
And then if we could just like see if we can make a little bit of progress every week on it. I think that's probably the best approach. Because I think the reality is I'm sure you understand this, is that I think a lot of these things, unfortunately, require sign-offs that go beyond the DOJ, myself, etc., etc. However, we can at least try to figure out something that acts as maybe a middle ground. And
Well, in regards to the towing issue, I think the most immediate solution we can do to help with this, outside of like implementing subsidies and stuff, because that's at least going to take a couple days, right? So I know when I spoke to you last about towing, you said that our sliders were maxed on it and that we had the legislation in place. But the thing is that for towing, it seems your pay is determined on where you turn the job in. And there's only one Los Santos County drop-off, and there's 3 Blaine County ones, and you rarely get the Los Santos County one. So basically, nearly all of towing pay is determined by BCSO, or sorry, not BCSO, Blaine County. And unless you get like a Mosley's job or a rare Los Santos turn-in. So I'm pretty sure Kyle has his sliders in the fucking dirt because the pay was atrocious.
Yikes.
So I can send it to you. I have a whole spreadsheet of the jobs that I did, what they paid, where their turn-in and pickup locations were. I tracked
Holy
staffing while I was
shit.
working and how many people were clocked in, and I drew some conclusions.
What
from my
the
data
fuck?
review. I was hoping to do a couple days worth of this, and I spoke with Pred about it as well. He said me and him could maybe do some experimenting with it at some point. But
Jesus, Maeve. Okay, this is good.
nobody was here. I had to find stuff to do. I figured
Yeah,
I'd try and solve this.
She was very detailed when talking to me the other day on the phone about it. She put in the fucking work.
We could pay.
I like finding data, in fairness. I'm a nerd.
I have a simple solution. Let's talk to Pred after this. Maxwell, however you want to do this tow thing with Maeve, I'm down. $5,000 a tow job for PD. Let's fucking do it. Let's just, you know what I mean? And then we can always change the numbers down the line. Number 2, let's talk to Pred, Maeve, and just have him put the sliders all up. If it's a money thing, we just pay. I'm down to just pay, do a joint thing where we pay the offset. He gives screenshot every Saturday or whatever of how much Blaine is paid out on tow, and we cut him a check. Would that be a good interim solution?
I think that would help a lot. If we can get either us to throw money at it or Kyle to raise the sliders or a combination of the two, I think that would help a lot. And then we just need to publicize it so that people know that that's there and they're incentivized to work it.
I'm sorry. 80.
Let me see if I can get Pred down here.
Hey, what's going on,
Pred,
Nino?
can you come to Legion Square? We got a problem and we got a solution. So.
The memorial meeting spot.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, I'll be there in a minute. Bye.
All right. See you in a bit.
That's fine.
Bye.
I'll be here monitoring. Let me know if you need anything. Okay. Bye. Oh, this is really good, Maeve.
Thank you.
So as far as we'll talk about the tow stuff. We'll talk.
Yeah. So I had all the jobs I
ideas.
did listed and the pay and everything. I also had someone with Maxwell and towing come with me for most of them, so I have his pay listed as well. And I tracked who was working, how many people were working, and if they were advertising that they were towing of any kind in the lemon list or not. And then total pay, average pay for job, not including Mosley's, because I honestly had a very disproportionate number of those than you would normally get. And then
Hey, Chief.
conclusion.
Oh yeah, is it starting now? Yes, I'm coming. Okay. Yep. I'm on my way. Okay, bye. I forgot the court case. Shit.
Oh, yep. I'll see you guys over there. All right.
All right, I'll
I
see you guys
appreciate
over
it.
there. I'll talk with you. No
Yep.
worries.
Bye, Maxwell.
Bye.